All right. Thank you, Slick. Thank you, Slick Picks, my man. Welcome, Mike, Robert. Everybody should be rolling in. Just give me the thumbs up that you could hear, and we're good to go because I got stuff that's probably went off within the last 20 minutes, stuff that will be going off. Actually, it's the webcam on this going on. See. You got it. Do your thing. Oh, boom. I'll go to the other one for now. Just get it.
Too dark.
Yeah, there we go. Boom. Thank you. All right, we are good. We're good to go. Thumbs up so I could read out some plays. Just wait another 2 minutes for everybody to roll in. Thanks, Paul. Thank you. Thanks, my man. All right, another minute. We're good to go. But just real quickly, that NBA game that went off, or that's going off in 10 minutes, actually. I don't have anything on that. The only thing I have is, let me see, I have a prop that I gave out. But it's in the late game, so we're good. We're good. Nah, Mike. But what are you going to do? All right, here we go. The only thing I have in NBA that's premium worthy is Oklahoma City and Denver. Let me just pull up the number. And we went with Dort, Luken's Dort, under 10.5 minus 120 total points, under 10.5 minus 120 total points. I gave that as a 3% play, which is 0.75% of bankroll. We'll go over that in a minute, but let me see if anything else is going off now. Like I said, I don't have anything in the NBA game. The only thing is, like I talked about on Wager Talk today, even though the line on Cleveland has gone up, historically, they haven't done well in this spot. And that's coming from someone who needs Cleveland for a future. So I'm as biased as they come. And I still don't think Cleveland makes a good bet. And I could not see betting them right now at -5.5. Like, that's crazy. Even if they win by 20, I don't think it's a good bet. It opened at a pick 'em, went to 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4. Like, none of those numbers were good enough. You wanted to wait till -5 or worse. Like, that to me just wouldn't make sense to place that bet. So like I talked about on Wages Talk today, it's a dog or pass situation. If you don't like the dog, it's hard to argue that the odds makers put out a number, even though the number's not a prediction of what they think the outcome is going to be. It's their prediction on how they're best going to manage risk. I still don't think they'd be off 5.5 points. unless it was like key injuries. But even looking at the back end, I don't see anything sticking out. Just a little more money on the Cavaliers. That's it. Just like there's a little more money later on the Thunder. And the under sticking out in the late game from the recreational bettors. They're betting the under. Every back end that I have access to that has a good sheet are all booking, what's it called? Under money in that game, which is surprising. The bias is usually towards the over. But yeah, they're going under the two. They were going under 233. Now they're still going under 232. Personally, I like the over. I mean, again, usually you do expect a little regression, but it's only game 2. And they put up 255 points last game and blew out the over by 25 points. Now, usually you'd think that inefficient of a number, it's going to come back, but back to life, but it's only the next game. And when you look at the series, it's been an over series. I mean, they played in March. The total was 240.5. They put up 267. They played in May. You know, the first game over 229.5, then over 230. But I think I don't have a dog in this fight, so I hope the public's right. I hope they beat the books and the game stays under. To be honest with you, I don't even really have a strong opinion. I would like if this game went under, then come back strong with the over in game 4. Hopefully they adjust a little bit too. That would be a good bet. Game 4 would be the good bet. But yeah, the only thing I have there is the prop that I gave you guys. So let me look real quick in the back, see if anything new has come in. All right. We laid the chalk, heavy chalk on Detroit, man. And they say, well, wise guys and sharp bettors don't lay more than minus 150 and that kind of nonsense in baseball. Nothing could be further from the truth. Again, the margin for error is slimmer when you're betting favorites. We talked about that before. My man, shout out, Steve. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Be kind to smash that like button for us. Get this out there. I'm going to have a lot of gold for you guys. I'm going to give you a plus 400 in boxing. You're going to get a plus 400 in boxing. So I'm going to hook you. I'm going to hook you. I got gold today. The stuff that went off that I have, and you know, it's not, the games are so, I don't even know. The only thing I happened to see was the Detroit. Is we have, I gave out Detroit minus, if you could believe it, minus 280. Thought it was a good bet. Thought it was a good bet. Even at minus 280, thought it was a good bet. The groups came in on it. It closed as high as minus 300 in some spots. So I'll take it. I'll take it. Regardless of outcome. And then I have some college baseball, but those already started. You can't bet them because they don't go live. They don't have live. At least MLB, I'm telling you, so because they do live. We went under 7.5 in the Phillies and Cleveland. I gave that as a 3% play, under 7.5 Philly Cleveland. I have the UFL game about to go off. UFL about to go off, right? I got DC minus 7, DC minus 7. And that was a 4% play, so a 1% of bankroll. You know how we do it. And excited for this weekend. I'm telling you now, I'll get this out of the way. I got the UFC cards up. I think there's 5. I'll tell you now. I started firing. I got a 5% play in those. No need to promote. You guys know the 5% this year. Crushed, coming off a loss last week. Again, no one's going to be 100%. I'm not making an excuse, but you can't sustain it. But what I have been able to do in 2025 on 5% plays is go 73%. I'm 16-6 with a push, a 58% ROI. And I love tomorrow's. I love tomorrow's. And even in the little note that I wrote in there, it's exactly what the line's doing, exactly what it's doing. And still great price for you. More than enough value to get down. More than enough value. But if you're going to jump on board for the MMA, I'm telling you, they hooked up a coupon because I said for the free, give something good, like not where they have to commit for a year. Not everybody wants to do that. But 30 days for under $200. And there's a lot going on right now. A lot going on. Playoffs, baseball every day, college baseball we're getting. Up had a bad week. So you're jumping on at the opportune time because I'm up for the year after the worst week of 2025, or yeah, pretty much close to it and stuff. But yeah, lost the 5% and a chalky money line bet in the NBA that was in all the accounts. Again, making no excuses, but we were nicely ahead going into that, so still up, but looking for a great 2025 coming off only the second losing year. And there's a coupon code too for that. If Johnny could put up the coupon code, that would be awesome. Whoever hook my people up. All right, 0-0 still in the fills. I'll take it. All right, let me give you, there's some college baseball that's still left to be played. I think I should give that out. Are we up over? We're not up over 1,000 yet. Should I wait till we get over 1,000? Because I got college baseball, and you know how that's done. Let me look right now. I'll tell you right now the results. Numbers don't lie. I told you after a losing baseball season, there's only one sport I would could bet. If they said you can't bet nothing else, I told you it would be baseball. Because I feel the most confident, the information, the groups I work with, and having the experience of having bet sharp baseball from before I even came out to Vegas, betting kosher kids freaking Major League Baseball, if you could believe that, in the 90s. So baseball is something I followed and seen, like that's where a lot of the money's made. A lot of the betting syndicates do the most damage during baseball because of the opportunities and the big sample size of data. You could trust it more. In NFL, what do you get? How many games? College football, how many games? 11, 12 games? Then the bowls, like small sample size of data. Defenders went off at 10.5. There you go. Yeah, Ace 100. Ace 100, $100 off. Hell yeah. If you're going to jump on with UFC, you might as well. Like, it's just plus EV. It's just plus EV. And that's what we're looking for, right? So let me tell you, I'll put this sounds, it's all right. Say, grab what you need. I'm going to tell you what else we got going into. All right. So, you know, we got Dort, Oklahoma City, under 10.5 points, total points, minus 120, 3% play, 0.25 of that. I'm going to give you two college baseball right now. Dude, I love you guys. Two college baseball, I'm giving it. UNLV versus Washington State. Okay. Under 11.5. We got down, I gave it out at minus 105. It was good to minus like 120, 125. I'd even go under 11 on UNLV Washington. Right now in Major League Baseball, if you could get down. Oh, no. That was an early game that I gave out. Sorry, that was the Cleveland under. What else? What else is later? Oh, Florida State and Cal. Under 10.5, minus 120, under 10.5, minus 120. I'd even go under 10, just a little smaller bet. I gave them out as 3%. I would just go a little smaller. That's all. There's a lot going on right now. We got college baseball, Major League Baseball, NBA, NHL, MMA every week. I'm so excited. Yeah, right now, let me see. Let me see for baseball 2025. I know we are having a good year, even after last week. Where's baseball? All baseball. Entire season. All right, still sitting up 51 units, 51.68 units. 9% ROI, 9% ROI. In baseball, we could sustain that. We could sustain that. That's after last week's bad week was a little of the regression, which is definitely coming when you're running as hot as we were. So, yeah, I'm excited. Let me give you what else baseball I have because I feel confident in the baseball right now. All right, you know I have Arizona later. I have Arizona later. Over to Dodgers. What else do we got in action? I wanted to see what you like, what anyone likes out there in MMA for tomorrow. We'll talk about that in a minute. But hold on. All right, so you got DC. DC, I gave out 4% play at -7. I told you guys that in UFL, the defenders. I gave you Dort under 10.5. Total points -120. I gave you under 11.5 UNLV, Washington State. I gave you under 10.5 Florida State, California. Dude, I'm giving you gold. Good Lord. Smash the like button. Come on, get it out there. We got plenty to talk about. We still haven't even gotten into MMA yet. I still haven't gotten into boxing. I got good boxing for you. I'll even give you another UFL for tomorrow. I got UFL for days. I even got Sunday UFL, Mother's Day UFL already to subscribers. And I love my futures that are in there. I love my futures to win the AL and to win the World Series. Love them both. Let's go. I say that because I hate when people say that. It's one of those things. Nothing worse. All right. You ready? Major League Baseball. $978. We're going under San Fran, Minnesota. Under San Francisco, Minnesota. Under San Francisco and Minnesota. 3% play, which is 0.75. 0.75 under. You're welcome, Connor. You're welcome, brother. I hope what I give you is gold. I hope it's a kick-ass freaking night, weekend. I told you I feel very good, very confident, settled in now, positive, everything like in a good mindset to do some damage. Yeah, I would only go on there. 9's a good key number, so I would go up to -120 on that for 3%. I'd go up to -120. It's a good UFC card Saturday. And coming off a loss there, the rare 5% loss there. But I can't not come back and unload another one this week. Like, it's on the board. If the value's there and the line's doing exactly what you said it was good, it felt like that's what should happen. And it's a good bet. You got to do it. You can't worry about what you did yesterday, whether you went 10-0 or 0-10. If that next day, that play warrants a big bet, you can't be afraid to fire. Oh, yeah. My sharpers book went to 8.5 on Minnesota. Oh, wow. My sharpest books went to 8.5. That's awesome. 8.5 plus money. Oh, hold on. The under was, hold on. It's over. The under is NBA under. Hold on. No, we're going under. We're going under. My bad. There's so much back here. The hockey game. Yeah, you doing good with UFL, Steve? Yeah, those smaller markets, man. A lot of when bettors ask me, like, what should I be if I want to get into the industry, and they from the side of being a bettor, I always tell them, start out with those small markets. You're going to have the highest probability of being successful early, instead of having to gain a ton of experience to then bet the bigger markets. Because you got to remember, again, another topic we talked about on Wager Talk today. Great show in the morning. 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. It starts off, covers a lot of good dudes jump on there. I'm on there every morning. Make sure you check it out. And we talked about that, actually. Like, even though I'm not booking your action, we are, and I want you guys to win. At the end of the day, you are trading against every other bettor. Like, it's a zero-sum game. Like, you're not working together. You're trading against the next person. So, in those biggest markets that take the most money, they're going to have the sharpest bettors, the sharpest traders that are trading in those markets. They're going to be the hardest to beat. Those with the experience, those with the resources, those with the bankroll, they're going to be tough to beat. If you're just breaking in and trying to be a plus EV, handicapper. But the smaller markets, a lot of those kind of bettors don't get involved because the limits aren't high enough. So they can't get down enough without moving the whole market to where they can't get down enough. And it's not worth putting in the work and the resources if they can't get a nice ROI on it. So you could find some of those, who cares where you're making your money? Like, whether it's UFL, whether it's NFL, whether it's cricket, whether it's Bulgarian soccer, or, Costa Rica Division III, who cares? If you're beating that market, just beat that market. Keep making money. Keep printing money. Yeah, that's a good question, CH. That's a good question. What I look for between groups mostly is confirmation. Like, when I see multiple hitting the same side, like, that is good confirmation that there's agreement, and they're racing to get a good number once they're seeing the screen start to move. Otherwise, how I differentiate is more between specialists. Like I know these guys do great with totals. Like their totals are their best stuff. These guys, their props are their best stuff, or their first fives, or their full game, or their money lines, sides. You know what I mean? So that's how I've mostly differentiate between the groups and that's how it usually is too. You know, because again, the information gets shared around. Like there's only a certain finite amount of accounts available. All right, let's see what else we got going on. Let's see what else we got. Let's look at the NBA. All right, you ready? Game 1565. That's first half. First half. Speaking of first halves. Under. First half under. There's 114s out there, but taking 113 and a half, 3% play. To get that 113, I'm getting it minus 110 right now, but I'd go to 120, even 125 to keep it at 113 and a half. Let's go. Hate those guys. All right, big day tomorrow. Big day in UFC. But hold on, we're still betting some action tonight. So just let's go over some games, and we'll cover everything else. The blackjack class has been going. The guys on here that are in the blackjack class, dude, you guys have been awesome. I'm so glad I did it. Everyone that's in that class, I feel, is already competent enough with what they've learned, and just from having a whole class where we just reviewed and answered questions, by spending double the time on the most important topic, bet sizing. Like I am 100% confident that if they stick to what they learn, they could walk into any casino and be the favorites without a shadow of a doubt. Without any doubt at all. I really do. And I mean, we're at the part now where it's just advanced tactics. We're just like, they know now how, like, what game to pick, what's the most advantageous rules for them, whether it's double deck or six deck, what to look for, which tables are the best for them. They know perfect basic strategy for every hand that they have versus dealer's, up card. They know how to keep a running count. They know how to estimate how many decks are in the discard tray. They know how to convert running count into true count. Then based on that true count, they know how to bet size and what bankroll they need. And then they know, based on that true count, deviations from perfect basic strategy that'll increase their playing efficiency. Dude, they're like that far ahead already. That's why I told you. I took a class and paid 5x what we're charging, and you get the whole year for free. And what these guys are learning blows that away. That's my crew, the Advantage Blackjack class. Anyone else that doesn't play advantage blackjack but plays blackjack? Because I know a lot of you guys come out here. You're out here in what's it called? For different times a year. And I'm sure a lot of you play blackjack. If you're not going to learn advantage play, I highly, 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 highly recommend that you play perfect basic strategy. Like whether you just Google perfect basic strategy for double deck and print out the card, or for six deck and print out the card, and never follow your hunch, play exactly what that tells you. At least with that, at six deck at a fair game, you'll only lose about 50 cents out of every, maybe 60 cents out of every $100 you bet. So that's like 6 times 7x, 8x less the hold than in sports. And you could build a ton of comps doing that, which will offset, your slight losses. But then if you add advantage play, that's why it's such a beatable game. And like I said, those guys now have a skill set they could use forever. Like they're bankrolled better 5 years from now, pull that shit out. It's the exact same thing I've been using since playing advantage back in 2010. So that's the most I'm proud of, that fucking class. Of course, the profitable long-term years, but that class, and knowing that these dudes now, again, they don't have to depend on anybody. They don't have to depend on nobody. They could go themselves and make their own money. All right, let me look and see anything else coming in too. Oh man, busy night. No, honestly, Paul, I wouldn't say since COVID, Vegas is shitty. It's just that since COVID, so many people changed their habits. You know what I mean? Like we've never gone back to normal, to how it was before. You could never go back. And I think a lot of people's habits changed. And then coupled with casinos opening up within a mile of more or less everyone's home, like what's the real draw? Unless you're coming out here for like a spring break, or you're coming out here because you want to watch a game and the Raiders are playing your team, or like there's a birthday, a bachelor party. Like what else is really pulling you to Vegas? Not gambling. You could do that a mile from your home. So it doesn't have that anymore. Like the mystique of going to bet sports and get in Vegas, you could bet them anywhere. Like if I didn't have my UFC contract, I would not live in Las Vegas right now. I was already prepared to move. Not this Christmas that just passed. The one prior, I was in Philadelphia. And I remember I told my family, my contract is up in March and they're probably not going to renew me, because, every year your rate goes up. And the truth is, after 5 years, like it's cheaper for them to just bring in someone new and have year by year by year. And I said, so if without that, there's no reason to stay in Vegas. I could do what I do with the sports from anywhere. I bet 90% credit shops unless I want to go bet cash. I don't really take advantage of the casinos. I mean, we'll go to a nice dinner and there's something going on, but otherwise it's not really pulling me for anything. But then the UFC signed me again. So I was like, it's just their headquarters. Where I go up there and tape. So, but yeah, I don't love Vegas. And now, especially since it's gotten it's not like it was when I got here, it was a town, man. And it was like so much cheaper and there were so many advantages to live in. Now it's more expensive than anywhere else. Real estate's more expensive than anywhere else. Like people have come in from everywhere now. Like, it's just so different, bro, from when I came here, when I first moved here. So different. It's almost like California B and shit at times. That's what it feels like. Like it's a California sister and shit. All right, Phillies game, no score, right? All right, Detroit got out of that inning. Let's go. Good night tonight. Let's have a good night, right? Good night. All right, I'm going to keep it going. Keep it going. So you guys know how we bet size. The percentage is just a rating to reflect strength. 1%, 2%, 3%, 4%, 5% at Wager Talk, which makes sense. Bet size in between 1x and 5x. And the way that I recommend to my subscribers so that they're able to overcome the short-term negative variance is working with an 80-20 risk of ruin, where we're comfortable with a 20% risk of ruin. We'll double our bank 8 out of 10 times. We'll lose it 2 out of 10 times. And here I am, 10 years documented, and 8 winning years, 2 losing years. Last year coming off my second losing year since 2015. And I've been comfortable with that risk of ruin. But once you have an edge, we talked about that before, you could determine your own risk of ruin with the amount of units you have. If you just want a 10% risk of ruin, you need 500 units. I work with 400 units, meaning if you betting $25 a unit and you're working with a 80-20 risk of ruin, right? Or you're betting $100 a unit or $10 a unit, it's the same exact thing. Your risk of ruin is going to be the same. You need that amount of bankroll, 400x. Meaning, so if you're betting $10 a unit, you need a $4,000 bankroll. Right? And there you're sitting with a 20% risk of ruin. If you want a 10% risk of ruin, you need a 500x bankroll. So if you're betting, $100 a game, you need what, 50 dimes? And let's be honest, who with 50 dimes is betting $100 a unit, betting between 100 and 500 on their biggest bet? Nobody, right? Well, maybe the 50 dime guys have money there, so they're not square, they're not full. But let's put it with a smaller number. Let's say you're betting $10 a unit, and you want to work with a 10% risk of ruin, where you're going to double your bankroll 9 out of 10 times. That's a good low risk, right? 9 out of 10. You need 500 units at $10 a unit. You need 5,000. How many bettors out there with 5,000 are betting $10 a unit, from $10 to 50? Now you know why 99.5% of sports betting accounts have negative lifetime earnings, because that's what it takes. That kind of patience and discipline. Probably back east, probably back in Philly. I mean, listen, in Blackjack, like I taught the class, I work with about a 5% risk of ruin, 10% at the most. That's where I'm comfortable. And that way I know I got, because there's variance in the small edge. I want to be able to, I know there's nothing they could do to beat me. I can only beat myself by being underfunded. So as long as, like the guys in the class have learned, the system I taught them, they know their exact edge, what to bet based on it before every hand is dealt. So they know they have an edge. All they need to make sure is they see a big enough hands to eliminate probability from the equation and let the law of big numbers produce profit. And it's a money printing machine. They could only burn themselves by miscalculating their bets and overbetting their edge. But if they work the way I told them, with a minimum 10% risk of ruin, and start at the $10 table, have a $5,000 bankroll, before you know, you'll be at a $25 table. Before you know, you'll be at a $100 table. It's like that. It's like that. And you're betting $100 to 1,000 on double deck, 100 to 2,000 on six deck. You expect to make 30, 40% of your top bet in blackjack if you're an advantage player using the system I use. So if your top bet is 1,000 at double deck, you're making $300 to $400 an hour. At six deck, if your top bet's 2,000, 1x to 20x, which is what you need to beat 6-deck the way I think you should be beating it to do damage. You're gold. Like there's nothing they could do. You're making $600 to $800 an hour. And even with 1x to 10x, dude, you're making lawyer money playing blackjack. But do you have the patience to go from $10 a hand to $25 a hand to maybe 50 a hand and then 100 a hand? Because if you're betting 50 on a double deck, you're going 50 to 500. But even there, you're making what? $150 to $200 an hour. It's good money. That's good money. Not every hour, but that's why it's the law of big numbers, long hours. Dude, after 80, 100 hours, so you put in 100 hours, you make $300 to $400 an hour, make 30, 40 dimes. If you got the passion, dude, I'm telling you, that course is the shit. If you got the passion, if I was young again, that's all I would do. Now with all the casinos everywhere, I would put together a bankroll. I would take my system, the dudes with big money, especially at Blackjack, high limit fucking places, and tell them, dude, I could beat the fucking game. Prove it to them. Have them deal you. And I promise you, anyone that's lost big money, high rollers at Blackjack and then sees what you could do, you fund a roll like that, I would do. I'd be flying around the world, fucking staying at the best casinos, nicest fucking rooms, playing blackjack, bro. Thank you, Michael, brother. We appreciate you. We appreciate you, my man. Thank you so much, bro. Thank you. That's kind of you. And that's what I love more than anything. Listen, bro, I give the free picks. I'll give you them every day. I put in the work anyway. I go to the page go to my free page at Wager Talk right now. There's probably a 4% up there for free, a 3% up there for free. I give enough. I bet multiple markets, even though my goal's low volume 2025. If I'm even giving 3 plays from 4 markets, 5 markets, it's going to end up being 12, 15 plays. That's a lot of volume. My guys don't get pissed when I give 1 or 2 away for free. Go to my page every day. I'm telling you, I put the baseball stuff up there, the college baseball. I put most of today. I think I put the prop. Like I put a lot of the stuff. That's those smaller market stuff. Because I know a lot of the guys that get the free picks, they can't afford yet to pay for information. So they're not properly funded yet. So I get it. So I don't want to just give them an opinion. Fuck that. You could ask me my opinion. I give it to you for free. What am I going to charge you for my opinion? But it's the stuff that I pay for. I pay for this information that I have to stand for the money in these accounts. If one side tells me to go fuck myself, the guys I'm betting for don't want to hear it. If the guys I'm betting for fuck me, the book don't want to hear it. They're dealing with me. So that's the money that I pay every day. Every day I have to live with that burden. And rest assured, you know how many books will screw you? That's why I now work with no bot. Fuck that. That was their number one excuse not to pay you. Now it's hand bet everything. Hand bet everything. If you're getting this stuff early enough and you could go off screen, why not? Yeah, we got defenders -7. Michigan, but that line moved on the Michigan game. I think Michigan game's tomorrow on UFL. I'm just rattling off free stuff. So remember, this is how we do it. I was talking about bankroll management because this is very important. If don't do it for me, do it for you. Try it. Just try it. Seriously, just try it. Even if you don't have the experience yet to go like 1x to 5x, just go 1x to 2x. Start with 0.25 of your bankroll. Or better yet, because that's even harder for you, my 4% plays is 0.25. So it's 1% of bankroll. I bet it like that. A 1% play is 0.25. A 2% play is 0.50. 3%, 0.75. 4% play is 1% of bankroll. And a 5% play, which tomorrow in UFC is a 1.25. So that means I'll never bet more than 1.25% of bankroll. If I'm betting $25 a unit, the most I'm ever betting is $125 on a dog or to win 125 on a favorite. That's with a $10,000 bankroll. So for me to have an 80-20 risk of ruin, betting $25 to 125, I need 10 dimes. To bet 100 to 500, I need 40,000. But at that, you're working with an 80-20 risk of ruin. You will double your bank 8 out of 10 times. That's the gold. That's the gold. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. But again, go with 500 units and you got 90-10, 90-10. Be even more gangster. You got $25 a unit, go to 12,500. Start betting 25 to 125. But if you don't have that discipline, then at least go 0.5% on regular plays, 1% on your best bets. And don't have a ton of best bets. 1 a day. 2 a day max if you're a volume guy. But 0.5% on everything. Don't do it for me. Do it for you. I'm telling you now. So if you have $1,000, bet $5. And on your best bets, bet 10. And I know so many people are like, dude, what are you going to make betting $5 and $10? Here's what's not going to happen. You're not going to lose the $1,000. That's what's not going to happen. Just do it for 3 months. If most of you guys are young, you're going to bet not just today, not just tomorrow, not next week, not next month, not next year, but for the next decades. You don't owe it to yourself to say, let me give it a shot. Trust me, I lost money every possible way doing this. Like every possible way. I tried to narrow down the one bet only this 1%. Like I tried every system you could imagine. And the only one that worked is the one where I managed risk of ruin correctly so that I don't ruin. That's the one word you want to stay away from as a gambler. You don't want to get ruined. And you're ruined, you're out of action. You can stop that by bet sizing correctly. So next time someone laughs at you for betting 125 max with a 12-dime bankroll, ask them how many bankrolls they've lost. If they're honest with themselves, how many they've lost. And who's up, them or the bookie? Ask that magical question. Because I promise you, it's just like gambling Twitter. Everybody's rich. Everybody makes their money betting. But who's shown documented long-term results? There's nobody that's winning and not going to tell you about it. There's no one that's won over a year is going to hide that. Like no one's hiding that from you. If they don't have those results, there's a reason for it. And it's not because they've had winning year after winning year after winning year. And I still can't understand, like even in 2025, how the market hasn't got caught on to this. And I see like the biggest nonsense. Those that don't understand money, no understanding of risk management, no understanding of risk of ruin, no understanding of how markets work, just giving out plays and showing big money on them like they're living this dream, betting sports. And the book's letting them bet 100 times, 200, 300 times on a game. They're up. Come on. We all know how it works. You're getting backed off faster in sports than you are blackjack these days. Are you kidding me? Beat a closing line for a couple days and your account will be shut down, win or lose. They don't even care about the results. Hey. That's discipline. You hear? Dog just zips it. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I love that. Someone's going to call PETA on me and shit. Chill. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Again, and anyone that signed us up for the year gets all the blackjack in the past, so you catch up. Like, we're not done, like I said. But Wager Talk will give you every single class. So you get the whole course. Like I said, I want an army of dudes doing it. And if you come to Vegas, I'll go with you to play. Like, meaning I'll stand behind you, watch you play for an hour or so. We'll go have lunch, dinner, and I'll tell you how you're doing. Like where I think you need to improve, where you're kicking ass. All right, let me see. All right. So for 5K, are you saying bet 25 and $50 for best bets? Yeah, exactly. Exactly, SP. Exactly. Exactly. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. No more than that. No more than that. And you'll be working with a 80-20 risk of ruin. You'll know. You'll know. After 1,000, 2,000 bets, are you really the favorite to be able to do it again? and have overcome every negative swing. That's the move. That's the move, bro. I'm telling you. Do that. Then you work your way up. You do that. That's how you move up to real baller status, not bullshit gambling nonsense. Like, you grind your way up. You'll learn so much. That's it. 25 and 50 and you're gold. You sleep comfortably. You'll never lose sleep over a game. You ain't going to have to sweat watching it. Nothing. You could just focus on finding the best positions to invest your money. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. And this is why most people that would be like, yeah, laughing. That's why 99.5. I'll keep repeating it. 99.5. That's not me, bro. That's the facts. That's one of the biggest offshore bookmakers on the planet. Well, I thought it was 99%. And he corrected me and said, no, it's 99.5% now. With all the same game parlay nonsense and all the new bettors every single day from everywhere, it's now 1 out of every 200, if they're lucky, are making money betting sports. It's not an easy racket. And you think you're going to go in there and overbet your edge and you're going to make money doing it? You're going to be in the 99.5. You could laugh all you want. You're going to be in the 99.5. Laugh losing bankroll after bankroll after bankroll. Keep thinking about making that big score one day. One day when you got the big score, you're going to do it right. When you got 50 dimes, you're going to do it right. Bullshit. You can't do it right with 5 dimes. You ain't doing it right with 500 dimes. It's that simple. But if you could do it right with 5 dimes, you're on your way. There will be the day where, if you are actually a winning sports bettor, there will be a day where you do have a 500 dime bankroll, not a $5,000 bankroll. Because most of you are young enough to be able to do that in your lifetime with compounding interest. You use it as a business and keep rolling it over, not using your sports betting account to pay your bills or to take your girlfriend out or that kind of, but use it as, this is my business. It's a $5,000 business. And again, with a $5,000 business, what do you expect to make? Let's say at the end of the year, let's say you're up 50 positions, right? Let's say you're great. You're up 100 positions at an average bet of what? $37.50, probably less. We'll say at $30, because you'll have more $25 bets than $50 bets. At an average bet of $30, you're up 100 positions. You made $3,000. What's not good about that? Off your 5 dime business. What was your overhead? Your internet? What's your overhead? And your time. That's it. So build your bankroll so that your time gets paid more for your hour. It's that simple. Again, it's business. You treat it like a business. It pays you like a business. And think about that. Now, at the end of this, you started at January 1st, 2025 with that 5,000. Your average bet is only $30. You're up 100 units at the 100 positions at the end. Okay. That's 3,000. Now you got $8,000. Take the 500, go have fun with it. Take your girlfriend out, buy something for yourself. Now you got a $7,500 bankroll though. Now you're going $37.50, right? To $75. Before you know it, you'll be betting 100 and 200. Just keep rinse and repeat. But you have the patience and discipline to do that. Very few do, but that's the math. Or you could be in the 99.5 that takes the $5,000 bankroll, starts betting $200 a game. And sure, there's times they go hot and they build that up to 10 dimes. But if they're betting 200, 300, 400 on a 5 dime bankroll, then on a 10 dime bankroll, what? They're betting 500, 600, 800. Eventually the cold streak's coming. None of us could overcome it. None of us can. I said it when every day, every play was documented. I said, during those years, you could find a stretch where it looks like I was throwing darts. Like I never watched the sport in my life. Like no matter how good your information is or how good you even are as a handicapper, there will come time, it's just math, that you're going to have a terrible run. Your edge isn't great. Even in card counting, where we know exactly what our edge is. And I prepare my guys for this. Expect to win 3 out of 5 sessions. That's it. And that's more than enough to print money. You're not going to win 5 out of 5 sessions. You're not going to win 4 out of 5 sessions. Now, you may do that in the short term. You may win 8, 9 sessions in a row. but that means you're going to lose 2 or 3, 4 in a row too. But over the course of 1,000 sessions, you're going to be close to 600 winning sessions, 400 losing sessions. If you could make money on those 200 difference, there you go. That's the business part. Again, I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but you got to do it. That's why they're giving the plays. I give them every day to my guys. Like I said, coming off the worst week that we've had in 2025 and still sitting number 1 in baseball, still up for the year, and a lot of action over the next couple of days, including UFC. LFA. I got 2 LFA, I think, 1 or 2 LFA. I got 2 boxing. Let me give you the boxing. You're going to love this boxing. Ready? Hold on. Now, I gave out 2 boxing bets, Both very, I'll give you the plus 300 one. This one's even a 4% play at plus 310. That's a 1% of bankroll at plus 310. All right. Kurt Walker over Liam Davies. Kurt Walker over Liam Davies. Okay. Again, manage risk correctly. This is featherweight bout. It's in Nottingham, over there in England. And I also gave a IBF title belt fight play out as well. Can't give it all. And, UFC, that card's up with the 5%. A lot of people are in on that one already. We'll talk a little UFC. And I'll give a lean where I'm looking at now, but, out of respect to them. I saw a lot of the UFC ones, so I don't want to piss people off with that. But all the other stuff is the long-term daily guys, and they get enough volume every day. They want to see it. They're not, and they already bet it. They already got the best numbers. So it's like, that's why I like giving accounts in. I like turning over accounts because I know those guys are going to get me the best numbers. They're going to lock in the best number every time. Where if I have to find it better to myself at why they already moved the screen, I'm always not going to get the best number. That's why I don't give everything out that is bet, or else the volume would be way too much. All right, Philly still under, baby. Stay under, Philly, Cleveland. And I need Detroit got to get it done, man. They're big favorites. Get it done. Every time Texas has someone on base, I get nervous. Let me see. There's nothing else came in yet. All right, let me go to the. Oh man, I forgot to scroll down. Sorry, boys. Yeah, Mike, it's what you're comfortable with as far as like I used to do that at times, and I just never did good doing that. When I was like, I'm going to bet only 1 game a day, or I'm going to bet no more than 3 bets today, because sometimes there were days where, you like 5 plays, you like 6 plays. And then there's some days where the truth is there may not be more than 1 play or 2 plays, you know what I mean? Or maybe even just 1. Like, so I don't like to have that in my head of this is the amount I'm going to play, but it's what you've been able to profit with, what you're comfortable with. Paul, honestly, I thank you. I tell it because, dude, I want them. That's not because I'm talking from a place of authority. I'm talking from a place of experience. That's why I'm telling you this, because I made those mistakes that most guys are making that are getting in, bro. You got to remember, I placed my first bet for betting syndicates back in this, all no lie, in what, 91, 34 years ago. Like I've been out here in Vegas since 1995, 30 years. This August is going to be 30 years. That's every day looking at nothing but lines, doing nothing but this. Like I've met a lot of sharp bettors, a lot of people that made a ton of money, and a ton of people that lost a ton of money as well. And I was fortunate and have the privilege to work with groups that actually win, that 0.5% that actually wins, not because of any talent of mine, but I broke in because of where I was raised, where I grew up. It happened that most of those betting syndicates came from the East Coast, and a lot of them came from Philadelphia, Delco, most notably. You know what I mean? Like, and that's just how it was. So this is from experience, bro. I've lost money every possible way, having the access to the best information when sports books weren't even copying numbers off the screen. Someone had to go in and bet it for them to move it. Like, you know, the edges that were available to us back then. But if you don't know, I didn't know how to bet size. I didn't know how to bet size, dude. I was gambling. My everything that was in my pocket, that was my net worth, my bankroll, my entertainment roll, my bills, like everything. Like, you know what I mean? I lived like a 25-year-old would live. I lived then like a 30-year-old would live. Thank you, Buster. That's one of the men I respect the most. Like that I've met in the industry, and that I've grown where I consider a friend more than just someone that I work with. Yeah, with Andy. I mean, me and Andrew are good friends. Me and my fiance went to his wedding last year. Like, we went to Florida I wanted to see him. Like, I love that guy. I actually, anytime I could ever, see him. Whenever I've gone, I went to Florida for a seminar, and he drove an hour for us to have dinner. Like, anytime he comes to Vegas, I try to see him. We talk on the phone when we can. Like, he just had a beautiful daughter. God bless him. He's got an amazing, beautiful wife. Like, he's a good man, like an honest dude, a good man. He's going to do well in life. He comes from a good family. I got to meet his family, like his father. Like, you saw, he comes from good people. And all the people that were there, you could tell by the guests, the kind of people he associates with. Like, Andrew's a good dude. He's a good dude. And he's one of those guys that, like, worked his way up, not with hype, but with performance. And he's still so young. Him in 20 years, forget about it. In 10 years, my God, he's just now launching in the industry. I mean, he's been in it, not saying he doesn't have the experience. What I'm saying is he's got such the future ahead as an originator and the network that he's building. And like I said, I love the guy as a human being it's more important than anything else. And I love that he's, his belief in faith. I love that. I respect that. His faith with his wife and shit, that stuff's important in character. So yeah, I hate when people bash just because someone sold picks and shit. Like, you know what I mean? Every industry has their scumbags, believe me. But not every scumbag's not everybody's a scumbag just because of an industry. Like, But again, the industry kind of like brought it on themselves, because I was around and saw the stuff they did in the 80s. Dude, I was that kid that got beat up by my dad for running up like $2,400 phone bill. I think it was like $4,000, but like, I don't know if my memory is that lost, but it was definitely at least 2,500 of 900 numbers back in like the late 80s, bro. Trying to get at it was probably one of Jim Feist's numbers. At one point, he owned all the 900 numbers, all the porn, because he cornered the market in 900 numbers. My man, and you don't understand. You know how like porn's the biggest search thing on the internet? Well, with 900 numbers, porn was the biggest dollar amount spent, I'm sure. You know what I mean? But I was calling for sports betting fucking picks and information and shit, falling that these dudes knew something. And back then you could bullshit, because if I bought an ad in a newspaper in the sports page, back then everyone got their information from the sports page. Like, every morning I would get the Philadelphia Daily News and start from the back, right? And it would have the Vegas lines in it. It would have the sports page, everything in it, right? So like, that's where you got your information. If I bought an ad in there and I wrote 16-0 over the last 16 Monday Night Football games dating back 2 years. And this is my first bet in 3 weeks. And I put this ad out there in the Philadelphia newspaper. Like, even if it's, let's say I lose, and then the next week I put it in a different city's newspaper and say, now I'm 17-0. Who are those people from Philly going to tell? And where are they going to tell them? Like, there ain't the internet. Like, what are they going to do? Write letters to people? Like, what are they, how they, who are they going to tell? Like, there was so many scams. So I get it. I get it. Why the industry? But things evolve, dude. Things evolve, or else you burn. Like, if you don't evolve with the world and the industry, you're out of business. And that's why the internet's brought transparency. But again, it's on you, the market, to demand transparency. It's what you're willing to accept. It's like we talk about in the Blackjack course, and I'll keep going back to that because so much in sports relates to it. If you accept getting paid 6 to 5 on Blackjack, then they're going to keep switching it from 3 to 2 to 6 to 5. Don't play those tables. What are you doing? Go to 3 to 2 Blackjack. Don't be lazy. They're out there. Like, why are you allowing them to do that? But if the market accepts it, then you're eating it. And so yeah, please understand. Thank you, CH. Honestly, please understand. I'm not talking from a level of authority. I'm telling you from experience, bro. I was that dude that I'll never bet again. Just let him hit this field goal, please, God, please. Betting money I didn't have. Betting money I didn't have. The first biggest debt I got into on my life, on my mother's life, at senior year in high school, owed a bookie $17,500 in change. And it was all because we doubled up on the Monday Night Football game. It was Minnesota versus Chicago Bears. I still remember. It had to be near Thanksgiving, because I remember it was a dark Thanksgiving for me, dude, a dark Thanksgiving. So it was right before Thanksgiving. They played Monday Night Football. And me and my friend Buck, I was booking back then. I worked in a deli where the dude was a gangster, like a real Cosa Nostra gangster, owned a deli and shit. And because I worked there like working. I didn't go in there as like to be a bookmaker, but I had gamble in me like everyone in the neighborhood. And that's what he did. He took bets. So he told me, dude, why don't you start giving these out to your friends and taking bets? And I was giving out those parlay cards and taking action. And I had this little black book with pad, and I would cut out, I swear to you, from the Daily News, the lines for like the football. And I didn't even know the lines move. I would cut it out like when the first day they had a Monday for that Sunday, and I tape it in the inside of my book cover. And I would just go around with that in my pocket. And someone wanted to bet, I'd have the line and read it off and write it down. So Buck starts betting with me because we're like close friends. And Buck's older, out of high school, drives, has a hot chick. You know what I mean? Like, and I started taking his action, and he was winning. And he's like tipping me off, giving me money and shit. So then I start betting on top of it with him. Next thing I know, we're like partnering up. Instead of me booking it, I don't even care what anyone else is doing. I'm just caring that Buck wins. And I swear to you, that Monday night game, dude, $17,500 was our tally together between us. And I still wasn't out of high school. And I was working in a deli in a supermarket by that time. Like the Italian deli guy had closed. This was like a year later after I'd started working at the deli. Like he had closed because like I think they like raised the lease or some shit like that. Or I think he just wasn't opening it, like partying too late and stuff. But make a long story short, he like closed that down. But I was still taking action and going to meet them at this restaurant in Overbrook. Anyone from Philadelphia, if you guys remember Haverford Avenue in Overbrook in West Philadelphia, Emilio's restaurant. That's where I would meet the dude. And he was always there every fucking night. I think he had like a piece of that restaurant. So I would give him the action. And we lost 17-5 and had to come up with it. And crazy story. This would take like an hour of what eventually happened. But what I'm trying to get to is, I've lost. This isn't from a level of authority. I'm telling you from experience. Like I've lost gambling in my life. Trust me. Like until actually moving Steam and seeing it from the right perspective, and then actually learning how to manage risk. Like it was just like good couple months, then you lose. Good couple weeks. You've all been there. You know how that is. You're living great until you're not. You know what I mean? But you're young. You think the world's easy and shit. You'll figure it out. Big deal. If you don't have kids and you don't have responsibilities, who gives a shit? Like, trust me, I've had my eviction notice here in Vegas. I've had like the electric cut off here in Vegas. Like, I'm not ashamed of that shit. That's what makes you who you are. Anything, I'll talk about my past. I'm not ashamed of it. You know, people say the craziest shit about me, but I'm not ashamed of, I'll tell you, like, that's just experience. You learn from that and shit. Like, again, I wish it could have been different. I believe me. And that's why I try to tell young guys that are actually going to bet every day, every week, every month, or for a long time. Like, dude, save yourself the headaches that I created for myself and shit. There's a right way to do it, and you can do it. Develop that discipline earlier than I did. Because once you do, then it's automatic. You're like a robot, and that's it. It can't change. All right, we're near 1,400. Let's go. And it's Friday night. My man. We're filling up. Dude, CH, you got to understand, when I came here, bro, the Stardust was like the sports betting capital of the world. They brought out the line for everything, everybody. This is before offshore. There had not been offshore. When I came out to Las Vegas, there was not a Costa Rica booking games. Like, if there was, it was like one company out there, and they were using phones. They went out there, bookies maybe from the East Coast, to avoid the law. You know what I mean? And had 800 number lines down there. That I could see. But I'm saying normal people were not betting online. There wasn't online when I came out here to Vegas in 96. 95. I didn't even have a computer. I had a beeper. The first thing I didn't even have a cell phone. When I first landed, within the first week, I went and got a beeper. There were still beepers when I got here. So believe me when I tell you, like, the Stardust was the center of the world as far as bringing out the lines for everything. So they were booking every sharp in the world back there was there. Like, you would see everybody that was moving the entire market would be at the Stardust every morning, every single morning. As soon as those lines went up, they would fire away at them. You'd be able to bet 3 bets, and then you had to get back in line. 3 bets, back in line. 3 bets, back in line. Like, that's all they gave you at the opening numbers. But you could max. Like, they'd give 5 dimes in NFL to any sharp. Like, even the guys that were moving the markets, they wouldn't kick them out. They'd give them 5 dimes and let them shape the lines for them to beat everybody else. Dude, Dom Best, the original Dom Best is from my neighborhood. His name was Dom Bassett, I'm pretty sure. And he was from Haverford, Pennsylvania. Like, that's Delaware County. I'm telling you, so much came out of Delco in Philadelphia. I'm telling you, so much came from Delco back then. Like, the group that fixed the NBA games, like, came out of Delaware County, like right near Haverford, where the first Dom Best started. And dude, Dom Best, their first original Dom Best that came out here, they would hold back lines. Like, so if they got it, because they'd get information first, like a player wasn't playing, and they had some, I'm sure, betting syndicates that they would give line updates to. And from what, this is all speculation and rumor, but from what I heard and know, they would hold back this information and allow these groups 5 minutes or so at beating every illegal bookmaker across the country. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Iverson's not going to play, so the Dom Best numbers would be updated, right? You're going to take, 5 points, 6 points, whatever you're going to take off the Sixers line. Well, he would hold this, and they would go out and bet against the Sixers, obviously. And then he would put it out. So then every other bookie would then get their info and lose their line. Because by that, by 2000, most were using Dom Best bookies. You know what I mean? It's like $500 a month. It was worth it back then. Because I remember even in Philly, those guys had that service. Like before I even came to Vegas. Yeah, UNLV under. UNLV under, Steve. Yeah, nah, I wouldn't go Florida State 10.5. I wouldn't bet the under. Oh, no, under 10.5 Florida State. Yeah. I'm sorry. I thought the UNLV number, it was 11.5. Yeah. No. Florida State 10.5. 10.5. You're good at 10.5. We got even money. But I'd be comfortable to get the 10.5. I'd be good up to 120, 125, to be honest with you. Like they've been doing that good on those baseball totals. And again, I can't promise you anything tonight. Every day is there's a randomness involved. All right, let me see what else I got for you guys, and then we'll talk UFC, and I'll get you guys out of here. Remember, Blackjack course Tuesday, more advanced topics. We're going to cover this week because last week we covered deviation from basic. We're going to see if they got that down to a science so we can move on to camouflage. This week they're going to lose camouflage so that they're able to get away with it. Another thing they're going to learn from my mistakes. Trust me, when I first became an advanced blackjack player, I was going for the jugular. Bro, I was going for as much money as I could make, splitting tens even if the count called for it, and taking every comp I could get my hands on. And that pissed them off. So I burnt out, within a year. So the camouflage is this Tuesday where we talk about what not to do, and how to get away with it a long time. And then we're also going to talk about team play because a lot of guys could play with a friend and the only one has to know how to count. The friend don't have to know how to count. Don't worry about that. We're good there. All right, Detroit won. Okay, someone had said something on the screen, but I didn't know sometimes people are busting balls. So Justin, thank you, Justin. Justin said Detroit easy money. And I'm like, did Texas just hit a 3-run homer and he's busting balls? Or did they actually just win for us at minus 280? I'll take it. All right. I'll take it. I should have trusted you right away, Dustin. I should have trusted you right away, my brother. Yeah, so let's talk. There's nothing else that's come in. You guys know the under in Oklahoma City. I gave you the boxing. The first half under in Oklahoma City. I gave you the prop bet. I hooked you. I gave you baseball, college baseball, UFL. But I think the Michigan lines moved a lot, right? Let me look at what Michigan is. I think I'd have a 5-pack in UFL out there with both box or with the PFL. Oh, yeah. Michigan's -3, -120. You don't want to bet that. You don't want to bet that. We got -1 on Michigan. All right, let's talk a little UFC. Then I'll get you guys out of here. And remember, Ace 100. Join me for the next 30 days. We're going to have 3 more of these over those 30 days. So it's a good time. And it's not like, I swear, I'm not trying to push it. The subscribers were doing good, but it's the opportune time coming off last week and feeling good about today already. All right. Detroit winner. We'll take it. All right. We hit 2 out of 3 in soccer this morning. 2 out of 3 soccer. I was going to look to give you those. See, yesterday I had 2 NBA props, both of them 2-0. Boom, boom. These props do good. That's why you may want to look at the Dort one, the under 10.5. Again, not pushing it, but just saying those have done very well. Those have done very well. Thank you, Paul. Thank you. And where was I? Yeah, we hit 2 out of 3 soccer. The one was plus 115, a minus 120. The only thing we lost was the draw, a draw. And I actually was going to make that a 2% play. It was plus 180. And the way the group bet it, they actually bet little less on that. But I wanted to hit a nice 180 dog, a nice 3%. So I'll take it. I'll take it. 2 out of 3. Yes. Great call, brother, Richie. That wasn't me. It was Italy, Serie, the second division, Serie B. So that's the best kind of bets. When I see that stuff, I'm back, John. When I come back, that's where I'm going. If I go back, it's going there, of course. 100%. In fact, it's been too long. I want to go out to Philly with my girl. We put that off for a little too long. So I definitely want to go out to Philly. All right, let's go. Let's talk UFC. Then I'll get you out of here. All right, let's start at the bottom. Katona. Bekzat's going to be a win. Katona's a tough out. He's always going to fight for your money. You know what I mean? He's a 500 fighter. As a dog, that's kind of when you want to bet him. But I just think what I saw from Bekzat, remember, his first fight, they gave him to Umar Nurmagomedov. And he got his ass kicked. Umar destroyed him. But he lasted 3 rounds. Like, he didn't get finished by Umar. And let's not forget, Umar has what? He had 3 of his 4 wins were by finish. 2 of them in the first round. The other one in the second round. Going up against Bekzat, who was in his debut, UFC debut. And you're going against a 4-0 Umar Nurmagomedov. Come on. With Khabib in his corner. Like, come on. The fam. And he lost. Now against Katona, because Katona's that dog that's going to fight for your money. You know what I mean? He's never been finished in the UFC, and all of his losses, he's gone to a decision. We know the refs, they could give you a heart attack. You know, once it goes to a decision, anything can happen. All right, let's go. Santos and Lee. The line moved. I like Lee. I like Zhang Yang Lee. I'll be honest with you. I know everybody's betting Santos. And a lot of the value may be extracted only. I'm still looking at that because the line's moved now. He's the favorite. I would have loved to have him as a dog. Look, those road to the UFC guys don't get enough respect. I faded them too. But he's won 2 of 3 in the UFC already now. So this is his 4th UFC fight. And he had 2 road to the UFC fights. So he's got some decent experience. He's going to have a 6-inch reach in this fight. He hasn't fought really tough level of opposition yet. But when you look at Daniel Santos, same thing with him. This is his 4th UFC fight. He's 2-1. His opponents have a combined record of 8-6. They won 57% of their fights. And he's moving up in weight, moving up to bantam. I don't know. I like Lee. There. Bruno Silva and Barria, not much there. I don't really like 2 guys that are in dire need of a win. I haven't touched that fight. 4 losses for Silva, 3 losses for Marc-Andre. I get it, Marc-Andre in Canada, the French speaking. But yeah, that's not a fight I'm interested in right now. Unless one of the originators that I work with bet it, I probably won't get involved in that fight. It's tough fight. And that's why line hasn't moved much. Baralt minus 150. Let's keep going. Sterling and Urslan. You know who I like there. I like Sterling. It's just, how is he going to get him out of there? You know what I mean? You got to remember, Urslan lost his debut as a favorite. Well, a slight favorite, you know, a pick'em favorite, minus 115 against Kutalaba. So being his debut, he was expected to be a guy. He wasn't. Now he's going against a Sterling Navajo, 6 inches reach. 7-inch reach, 6 years younger. I got to like Navajo there. Kutalaba and Bukaskis. Again, another fight, unless somebody sharp that I work with bets them, I ain't messing with it. Jasuda Vicious and Andrade. If you watched Wager Talk today, earlier in the week, I gave Jasuda Vicious inside the distance at plus money. I like that 6-inch reach she's going to have. Andrade ain't going to have an easy time even striking her, which is what she wants to do. But I think once Jasmine gets her down, she's either going to sub her or maybe even a little ground and pound. I know she doesn't have a lot of finishes and it's ladies flyweight, but it's almost 60-40. Only 60% of the time really do judges get involved. So it isn't the worst. It is, like women's strawweight where, 2 out of 3 times they do. All right, move up to Radke and Malat. Listen, I saw Malat at Contender Series. That's where I first got introduced to Malat. And what I know about Malat is he wanted to be a hockey player. He's from Canada. His brother plays professional hockey. Like the whole family's a hockey family. But since he's an athlete, he didn't make hockey. He went into MMA, okay? I was looking for spots to fade him. That happened against Magny. I made some plus money. He bounces back, gets the win in his last fight. Nice win against Giles, I believe. He's been favored in every fight. He's favored here again. Radke's a tough out, Radke's got won 3 of his 4 fights, but he hasn't fought anyone with a winning record. Like overall, his wins come against a combined 6 and 8. So, yeah, I think Malak gets it done at home. I do. St. Denis against Propolic. St. Denis got an easy out here. He's going to have a nice reach advantage. He's a lot younger. As long as he's not, crazy and doesn't turn it into brawl in 30 seconds, he should be fine. He doesn't implement his takedowns as much, as he should. And he's got a ground game. Natalia Silva against Grasso. I really think it's a good time to fade Grasso here. I'll actually tell you, I gave Silva out at minus 200. She's now minus 260, so value's been extracted. My subscribers got down to minus 200, but that's what they pay me for. Get them down to good numbers. And in MMA, get them down in great numbers. So luckily, the 5%, you still get the good number, Jose Aldo and Zahabi. I got to evaluate that one because of the weight moving up in weight. They're supposed to fight at bantam. They're fighting at featherweight because Aldo was 8 pounds over. They couldn't make the weight, blah, blah, blah. So I got to reevaluate. Shevchenko, Fierro. I like Manon. The fear I have is they're sharp bettors both ways. And I also fear, is this a Weili Zhang situation? Remember Weili against Tatiana Suarez? I thought it was Suarez this time. She was undefeated at that point. She was dominating. She had a path to victory. Take Weili down. She did it in the first round, and then she didn't win another minute after that. Is Shevchenko going to implement that game plan? She's a world champ, and the line's dropping after it had gone up. But Manon's won 12 straight fights, man, and she's supposed to be undefeated in the UFC. She's 6-0 as a favorite. So only once was she the dog. And as a favorite, average closing line is over minus 300. So, she's done her job. And I think she's strong. I think she's got the power. My man Estat, welcome to the party, brother. We're towards the end. And Jack Della Maddalena, I think the line's moving back up now. It had dropped tremendously. When I did the Gambler's Perspective, check that out on UFC Fight Pass, my weekly podcast, now in its 3rd season, or watch UFC on the Line. Got to give them a little plug as well. 7th season there, 6th or 7th season there. So, yeah, it's been a nice ride with the UFC, man. I thought it was going to be maybe I'll do a season of shows with them and shit, that one show. But here it is, 6, 7 years later. And it's been one hell of an experience, man. Coming from the row house where, I would have never, ever in my life, I wouldn't have bet on it that I would be sitting in the chair next to Bisbing, sitting next to Felder, sitting next to, I'm next to Cormier, sitting next to all of them, in the production meetings. And I did shows with them on UFC on the Line. I did it with Woodley, with so many of them. It's crazy. And it's been renewed every year, for 6, 7 years. Love it. Best experience ever, man. I feel every day, every time I go, I'm happy. Yes, my girl, like a kid at a candy. Like I have pressure because I want to do good, but like I always go there happy. It's something I would do for free. The fact they pay you is crazy. You know, it's one of those kind of things. And they've been good. Anytime I've asked for tickets, me and my girl, we've gone to the Apex multiple times. They gave us the most kick-ass tickets to the last pay-per-view that was in here at T-Mobile. Like these were like $2,500 seats and shit. And they're cool. They're cool. All right. So yeah, you know where I stand. You know where I stand. Helly's the man. We talk football with Dan all the time. Dan actually, if you watch UFC on the line on Fight Pass, you'll see Dan hosted this week because Brendan was in last week. Where was it last week? In Missouri, was it? Wherever it was, Brendan had flown out there for that. And we taped a week early. You know, they make it say like it's live, whatever, but we taped it like a week early for UFC 315. And Helly sat in. I love him. He's awesome. And if you watch the weigh-in show, they came to us, you know, to give best bets. Like we taped that segment and then they put it on the UFC weigh-in show. That weigh-in show is so popular. People love that show for some reason. My chick watches the weigh-ins to handicap the fighters because every week she bets MMA, UFC, and shit. I got to say, so far, so good. But yeah, she hit this one big parlay. So that's why, like, she's still ahead, lifetime ahead. You're in that 0.5%, babe. That's profitable. Yeah, seriously. Because of that big parlay. All right. Remember, Ace 100. Join me for the next month. Remember, NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, Major League Baseball, MMA, college baseball, soccer like today. If it's sharp, props, I'm going to get it and give it to you. You don't have to bet everything. That's why I told you, just like I don't bet everything that I bet with the move for these guys, you shouldn't. Like, unless you're properly funded, you shouldn't bet everything. You should have your own opinion ready to go. And then if you see that I confirm something, fire. That's how I do it when I work. Like, that's my ideal, that I work with actual guys that follow markets and sports and handicap their own stuff. Then I could handicap for them, just hand them off information. They could use it as they wish, what they agree with, what they don't agree with, and then narrow down and have an even higher ROI than I. That's my dream. That's always been the dream. Not just for dudes to follow me blindly. You know what I mean? Because if that was the case, then I would rather just be able to bet for people. Because then I would just get them the best numbers instead of having to send it to them and shit. You know how that is. But shout outs. I want to thank you guys. We crossed 1,500. Love yous. God bless. God bless you and your families. Oh, happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. Honestly, bro. Love your mama. Give her make sure like she feels special. Believe me when I tell you right now, like my mom's not well physically. And it's like the worst thing when you see your parents get older and that deterioration. And the best gift you could give, I promise you, bro, I promise you, I say this all the time, is write them something. Because like most people could buy something if they need it. You know what I mean? It's different if you want to buy them something that they need, you know, they need. That's your mom. Buy it for her. But something that is one of one. Like write her something that she can't buy. Like something like that is priceless. I tell my girl that all the time. Like I could buy what I need. Like I need cologne, I'll buy it. I need clothes, I'll buy it. Like you want to give me something that's one of one that only you could give me? You know what I mean? Write me something. Do something personal. Something, you know what I mean? That is priceless. And happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. Again, hope you and your families are safe. God bless you and yours. Do some damage. And hopefully we crush it. Smash that like button, please, please, please. And Wager Talk Today. Every morning I'm on Wager Talk Today, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 Eastern. And I also do Last Call. That's tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. I brought an early Saturday. I'm chopping it up, I think, with Ariel Epstein. And yeah, make sure you do that. And give that show a like as well, bro. Subscribe to Wager Talk, solid people. The Blackjack class is because I now with them 100%. You know what I mean? Like I know the industry. I know the industry. And when I tell you they're decent people trying to do it right, that don't urge their cappers to like sell, they urge their cappers to win, knowing that if you win, like you're going to sell, and urge their cappers to produce content and like share as much free information as possible. Because it benefits them too. They're not stupid. If people are willing to digest your free stuff, then that's a way in the door to your paid stuff. If you show them value, if you don't, that's on you. Like, but they don't encourage like push big plays, that shit that's in the industry, or go out there and be a clown to try to sell and promote big games and all that shit. Never, never, never. It's always give value with content, and give as much free information as you fucking possibly can. And you'll make a living if you produce. If you produce, you'll make a living. Like, and I love that platform. Again, it's a business. Business has to keep the lights on. They have to pay employees. They got to pay the bills. So you got to market. You got to sell. That's everything. But as far as trying to do as much possible like this, urging me to do this, like I love them for it. And they deserve, honestly, they deserve the subscription. Go subscribe. They deserve the likes. They really do. Few people like that. Solid. Johnny Detroit and that whole crew. So happy Mother's Day. Thank you guys. Thank you, Mike. God bless, brother. Love you all. And do some damage. We're going to crush it. We're going to crush this next 30 days. Ace 100. Ace 100. And don't forget Blackjack 2.